With the start of a new year, it's time to plan some new adventures. And if you're thinking of vacationing outside the U.S., you're certainly not alone. The number of Americans traveling overseas continues to rise, according to the National Travel and Tourism Office, with more than 27 million Americans heading abroad in the first 3 quarters of 2016, an increase of more than 7%. Here with some great ideas for where we may want to head on vacation is Travis KATZ. He's the co-founder and CEO of Trip.com. Travis, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
It is our pleasure. So let's talk about the top emerging travel destinations for 2017.
Right, so more than 10 million travelers come to Trip.com every year to plan their trips. So we get to see a lot of data about where people are going. And instead of reporting just on the most popular destinations, we like to look at where we're seeing growth, sort of the emerging destinations, because these point to trends of where people are going to be going. This year was a really interesting list. It was more international than our typical list and really shows that people are getting out and exploring the world. Number one on the list was Adelaide, Australia. So Adelaide, Australia is in the south of Australia. It's got beautiful beaches and outdoors, a very lively sort of town center with great restaurants and things to do. But it's also the gateway to Australia's outdoors. So if you've ever dreamed of seeing kangaroos or koalas, Kangaroo Island is right off the coast. It gives you a great opportunity to explore that real, authentic Australia. Number two on our list was Cuba. So as many people know, the United States recently lifted its travel embargo against Cuba. So Americans can finally legally travel to Cuba. So you can imagine yourself wandering down cobblestone streets amongst old, historic Spanish colonial architecture, the sound of salsa music in the air and the smell of fried plantains. Cuba's famous for its culture, its food, its white sand beaches, and there's no better time to go than now. And what we're seeing is our travelers are going there in increasing numbers. Number three on the list is sort of a surprise, Medellin, Colombia. So a lot of people think of Colombia still from the 80s and the time of the drug war, but Colombia has really come around. It's now a very safe country to travel in, and Medellin is famous for its culture. It's a beautiful city. It's got, again, old historic Spanish architecture and narrow streets, but it also has a modern part of the city with great nightlife, tango and salsa, and a lot of the sort of Latin culture, which is just a really fun thing to do. So those are some of the top three in the list, and I think they're all really interesting destinations.
Interesting indeed. Travis, can you very quickly give us a couple of destinations that may not be as popular, maybe on the downside, but worth a second look at it?
Right, so we also look at destinations that are on the decline at Trip.com, and what we see is that just because something is on the decline doesn't mean you shouldn't go there. In fact, oftentimes it means it's a great time to go get bargains. Number one on our declining list this year was Marrakesh in Morocco. So Marrakesh, if you ever dream about sort of Arabian Nights and narrow winding streets and colorful spice bazaars, that's what Marrakesh is about. So it's a very rich culture, great food, great architecture, and a lot to see. Number two on the list is Tulum in Mexico. So Tulum is a little bit south of Cancun and is really looked at as sort of a more laid-back version of Cancun. So if you go to Cancun to party, you go to Tulum to relax. There's Mayan ruins right on the coast there, overlooking the ocean, white sand beaches, but there's also a lot of things like yoga and meditation and a lot of sort of more the spiritual stuff. So it's great for families and great for people who are really looking to sort of unplug and relax. Third on the list is Melbourne, Australia. So Melbourne is sort of the most European of Australian cities, street-side cafes and rich cultural heritage. And so those are all destinations I'd give a look at if you're wanting to get out and explore, but also wanting to find some bargains.
Travis, tell us a little bit quickly about the tribe system and why that works so well for Trip.com.
Yeah, so Trip.com is different than a traditional travel site. We really like to say it's less work and more fun. So we use something called tribes. So tribes are things like family travelers, nightlife lovers, outdoor enthusiasts. When you come to Trip.com, you tell us who you are, and we find places that are perfect for you based on where people that share your interests go. So you can use it to find a great hotel. Say you're traveling with kids on a budget. We can find you a great kid-friendly hotel and then find you the best prices because we pull in all the prices from around the internet so you don't have to go shopping around. If you're looking for places to stay, places to eat, anything you need for your trip, we've got it there. It's sort of a one-stop shop for the traveler. And our goal is really to get you off of your phone and off your computer and out having a lot more fun.
Travis, where can we see the rest of this list and get some other ideas?
So you can go right to trip.com, where you can see the full list of both our rising and declining destinations. And you can also just go on there and search and get inspiration to find your next trip, whether for spring break or for summer.
All right, Travis KATZ is the co-founder and CEO of trip.com with some great inspiration for our next vacation. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.